Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Sorry I'm a little bit late today. Had some stuff to do. I truly hope everyone is well out there today. I'm happy to be here for you, to support you. Today I'm going to be talking about Schisandra berry, which is a herb that has been around, herb and fruit that has been around for centuries, that helps with stress response, that helps with immune support, that helps with liver health. So it's something that I think is overall beneficial, especially in times like now where we are very stressed out. So here I am. So I'm just going to wait a moment for a few people to join. Good morning. Good morning, Mary. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for being here. Friday, right? Been one of those weeks. You know, I hope next week shows more positivity in the world and us coming together. And I hope you all are staying very safe. All right, so I am Dr. Tricia Pingel, and this is your morning checkup. It is Friday, and I'm going to be talking about Schisandra berry today. So I try to do profiles of different herbs. Schisandra berry is one that I have used for many years now, and the reason that I love it is that, one, it impacts a lot of different aspects of your health. So it has benefits in many different places, but also it blends really well with other herbs, okay? So if you put a bunch of herbs together and you're trying to look for a real beautiful balanced blend, Schisandra berry is one of those that does a really good job at that. And it has benefits more than just the adrenal glands. That's why I love it. I love its work as an adaptogen. I love that it can help us manage stress. We all are going through a lot of stress right now, and trying to find ways to navigate in the world, no matter where you're from, no matter what you're experiencing, no matter what's going on for you right now, trying to not only have the mental, emotional ability to handle stress, but also have the physical ability to manage stress, keep yourself healthy, and get through these times is really, really important. And that's why I chose to talk about Schisandra this week. Now, earlier this week, I talked about traditional Chinese medicine, and I talked about how that's been around for centuries and how it's looking at treating the cause. Schisandra berry is one of those plants that has been used for centuries in Chinese medicine cultures, also in Eastern Russia. It's very well respected. And has known, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the Chinese name of it. It's something to the effect of woo-woo-zi, and I apologize if I say that wrong. But what it means is it means the fruit of 5 tastes. Okay, so what that means is that Schisandra berry actually has all 5 basic flavors: salty, bitter, sweet, sour, and pungent. Okay, and in traditional Chinese medicine, that relates to the 5 elements of water, fire, wood, metal, and earth. Okay, so this berry has been around a very long time. It also applies in traditional Chinese medicine to the 5 element theory, which means it supports the 5 visceral organs in traditional Chinese medicine. Those being the liver, the kidney, the heart, the lungs, and the spleen. Okay? So now I use it more in Western naturopathic medicine, I guess, as an adaptogen to help us manage stress. People are asking about brands. You know, I can't really be overly specific to brands, but I can tell you there's a lot of tinctures available at your local health food store in liquid tinctures that are standardized. And I'm not making any specific recommendations. I mean, I know a very popular one, some popular ones you can find, Gaia, Herb Farm. Those usually have pretty good tinctures of Schisandra. There's many out there. Those are ones that are just readily available. But I do like blending Schisandra with other herbs. And if you look at some of the adrenal supplements on the market, if you see some capsules for stress response and adrenal, often you will see Schisandra berry in it. And this is why, okay? But Schisandra berry, yes, Robin, I will. When I repost this to IGTV, it'll put a title, which will say Schisandra berry. But it is Schisandra, Schisandra berry. Or you could type in the fruit of 5 tastes. So it has many more benefits than an adaptogen, but we're going to talk about how it's used as an adaptogen to help manage stress. We're going to also talk about how it helps the liver, improves cellular function, and all sorts of great things. It is an amazing herb or fruit for your health, okay? And especially when you're experiencing a lot of stress. So I hope all of you are staying calm out there and doing your best to get through this week. So let's talk about it. Sound good? Okay, so let me go to my other little thing here. I have multiple studies open today. Not sure if I'm going to throw them all at you or just some of them, but so first of all, like I said, it's typically used in Chinese and Russian medicine, and most of the studies have been done in other countries. And so most of the studies I'm talking about, it was well studied. Schisandra berry sounds like the Fifth Element. Yep. I like the comedy today. It's good. Let's keep smiling. All right, so first of all, I want to talk about Schisandra as an adaptogen. So what does an adaptogen mean? Adaptogen means that we adapt to stress. It's when external stress is thrown at us, what do we do with it, right? How do we internalize it? How do we let it affect our body? Some people just kind of roll with it. It doesn't really impact them. Their body stays in a calm state. Others totally freak out. So what Schisandra berry can do and other adaptogenic herbs is they can help manage how your body manages that stress, how you internalize it, how you find peace with stress, right? Which is possible. It takes a lot of work, but it is possible, okay? So it is widely used as an adaptogen. The studies on Schisandra as an adaptogen here in the US, actually I think most of them were actually done in Russia, started about in the early 1950s, and they would do these studies on athletes, airline attendants, and soldiers, okay? And what they would find is that dosage is anywhere from 350 milligrams to 6,000 milligrams of the whole berries, or 2 grams of the extract did a few things. Number one, it would increase the stamina and recovery time after exercise. So for those of you that are training, you athletes out there that are trying to train and improve your recovery time, Schisandra berry is something you should look at. Take a look at the research on that. Some great stuff there. They also found that it would improve the ability to perform concentration intense tasks, and it would decrease fatigue. So has also been studied a lot, good morning, a lot in chronic fatigue and in people that are having a hard time recovering from traumatic events, fatigue events, overexertion, those types of things. They found numerous studies in race horses that reported enhanced physical performance, faster recuperation, and improved serum parameters in racehorses, which was kind of an interesting one. And in rats, they were finding that heat and cold extremes were improved. And that didn't matter whether they took Schisandra ahead of time or after the fact. It still improved the heat and cold intolerance. There's been a lot of benefits to it as an antidepressant, an anticonvulsive, so there's a lot of research on seizure and seizure activity, anti-dysentery, labor stimulating, and I want to come back to that, and visual improvement. So people that are having trouble time seeing, hard time concentrating, poor moods, really impact of stress, have seen great benefits in research with Schisandra berry. Now, with that said, I did say labor stimulating. There is a contraindication to Schisandra berry, and that is you may not take it while you're pregnant or lactating. Now, if you're on a lot of drugs as well, pharmaceuticals, also need to talk to your doctor. I always think it's a good idea to talk to your doctor in general before you start any herbal therapy, but definitely no pregnancy here, okay? So adaptogen is its primary use. However, what was interesting is they are also finding, and this is a pretty big use of Schisandra that maybe you haven't heard about, is that Schisandra berry is actually very protective and regenerative to your liver. I am being asked if this is safe to take daily. As long as you've been cleared, you don't have any contraindications, it is a very safe herb. But once again, people have reactions. Some people are allergic to herbs. Some people are on medications that interact. So I would definitely get the approval from your doctor. If you're someone that doesn't have any contraindications, yes, it's a fabulous herb to take. And I do have more information in this on drpingel.com. What's been interesting is its study in liver protective effects. Okay, so they started doing some studies on the lignans that are in Schisandra because they have been shown to reduce elevated liver enzymes in humans, even those that are taking pharmaceuticals that are toxic to the liver. So things like high-dose ibuprofen can become toxic to the liver, statins, some of these drugs that America is on have really strong hepatotoxicity, and they cause elevated liver enzymes, inflammation in the liver. Schisandra berry has been shown in research to actually lower the liver enzymes and protect the liver cells. Now that's great, especially if it's also helping you manage stress. Now, any of you that watch me regularly may have saw the live that I did on the liver and how stress impacts liver function. Stress slows the liver detoxification. Stress impacts the way that you remove toxins from your body. So if you're not only helping the liver, but you're also managing the stress, that's a win-win. So this is a very well-rounded herb and one that's definitely worth consideration. Some of the studies on that, these actual studies on the hepatotoxicity and reversing that were done over the course of 20 to 30 days, okay, which is crazy. It only took 20 to 30 days to reverse those enzymes. Now, these studies led to a drug that was actually developed in China to use and treat for viral and drug-induced hepatitis. So the lignans from Schisandra berry are the basis of that pharmaceutical. And while I'm on that topic, most of the pharmaceuticals that we see, many of them are derived from a plant-based mechanism of action. What they do is they take the plant and then they modify it and they add things to it and they change it and they alter it and it becomes a pharmaceutical. But it's based off a mechanism that comes from nature. So that's why herbs and nutrients and things like that can be such a benefit to your health. They actually have a lot of the same mechanisms that pharmaceuticals do. It's just sometimes they also come with side effects. Now, herbs and medications and all have side effects in some people as well, okay? So once again, check with your doctor before you do this. I'm just giving you the education of what to look up, what to ask, maybe call your attention to stuff that you've never heard of before. That's the goal here, right? We want to just educate you, let you know that there are things out there that can help you manage stress, that can help you get well. And that's what I'm here to do, okay? So that's on the liver. There was another study here, though, I wanted to mention. There's a lot of biochemistry here, so I'm trying to spare you. Sorry to look at my notes, but I don't want to go right over your head on a Friday. That's not cool. Sometimes the stuff is so bogged down. Even I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't know what that said. But they did also find that Schisandra helped protect. This was in an animal study on rats. It helped protect the heart from ischemia damage. So from inflammation and artery blockages actually helped as much as vitamin E and N-acetylcysteine. So those are some studies that you can go toxic on vitamin E. So I think it's very important to also know other options with that. Some people don't tolerate N-acetylcysteine as well either. So it's nice to have different options there. There are anti-inflammatory effects of Schisandra that are currently being studied. Hasn't been overly studied, but they are finding that there's some sort of mechanism with it blocking nitrous oxide. And I want to pull that up here. The anti-inflammatory. Where's my note? It had to do with blocking nitrous oxide. So let's talk about the other reasons. I'm sure I'll come across it in my scroll here. So we talked about liver protection, also respiratory health. So Schisandra berry is used a lot in traditional Chinese medicine for the respiratory system. Okay, it's considered to support lung and kidney yang deficiency. Now, what the heck did I just say? If you watched the live on Monday, you learned a little bit about traditional Chinese medicine and how everything is based on a certain type of system that's a little bit different than what we're used to in Western philosophy. But basically what that means in Western terms is that Schisandra is well known for treating in traditional Chinese medicine for things that require restorative to the respiratory, an expectorant, so getting mucus out, improving oxygen, and stopping a cough. It is indicated for chronic coughing, wheezing, asthma, low respiratory capacity or shortness of breath, altitude sickness, tissue hypoxia, and other respiratory infections. So when you get a respiratory infection that impacts the lungs and your ability to breathe, Schisandra is one of those that is looked at in traditional Chinese medicine. Important thing to know right now. Also used a lot in kidney balancing fluids. It's used a lot to strengthen the kidney. People with night sweats, excessive daytime sweating, frequent urination, chronic kidney infections. Schisandra berry has a lot of research on that in traditional Chinese philosophies. Sexual health along that line. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the kidney is involved not only in balancing fluid, but also in our sexual health. So in those with impotence or even in women, infertility, things like that, you look to the kidney meridian, which Schisandra is a very strong supporter of. So that can help with, it can help with numerous things. Sexual fatigue and sexual stamina is a big area of research there. and also flowing water in and out of the kidney. Central nervous system. So I think I probably see it a lot of the impacts on central nervous system with Schisandra berry. And I think that goes hand in hand with its ability as an adaptogen. If you're managing stress, right, and you are calming and accessing the parasympathetic nervous system, you're going to have less nervous system activity, right? So things like, so this is indicated for things where the nervous system is just out of sync. So I'm going to give you a long list here. You ready? It has been used for memory loss, loss of concentration, headache, dizziness, chronic physical and mental fatigue, insomnia, sleep disorders, nervous breakdowns, paralysis, psychosis, things like Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease, Meniere's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and Guillain-Barré syndrome. So any type of neurological change, Schisandra berry has had a very strong impact on. And that makes sense, because if it's helping regulate that sympathetic and parasympathetic activity, that's going to have a positive impact on the central nervous system. And I think that goes right to why it can work in anxiety and depression and other sort of emotionally nervous system disorders, right? Because our minds and our bodies are connected, guys. We tend to treat them separately, and we shouldn't. We're connected, right? Our brain and our body are together. Okay, so remember that. We talked about its ability to combat stress and how that has been used long-term in athletes and for performance and stuff. So do keep that in mind. Lots of studies on that. I could go on all day about the studies on that. I won't bore you. I've mentioned a few. Immune system. So as I mentioned earlier, it's used a lot for the treatment of chronic fatigue due to its ability to increase oxygenation and to impact the nervous system, right? Those are things that are involved in chronic fatigue syndrome. And it's also in AIDS, in acquired immune deficiency syndrome. There's been some research in Schisandra with that. It's a regulator for the immune system. So under the stress of allergic or autoimmune reactions, Schisandra berry is a great one to look at. Most of the research on that has to do with the lignans that are present in the fruit itself, which is kind of cool, which is like the kind of like the stem, the polysaccharide stem, has been used as a sedative, although I will say, because I use Schisandra a lot in adrenal tinctures for its ability to just kind of calm the body. Now, I wouldn't have really called it a sedative per se. That is in the literature, but when I think of a sedative, I think of herbs that like fully start to knock you out. Schisandra doesn't really do that. It just kind of, they say in Chinese medicine, it calms the shen, and that's exactly what it does. It just kind of calms you down, takes that edge off. That's why it's such a beautiful, beautiful herb to add into blends, because it just kind of just calms you down. I wouldn't necessarily call it a sedative, but they are looking at it in insomnia and dream disturbed sleep. There's a lot of information on that. Cardiovascular health, obviously, if it impacts the way that we utilize oxygen, as we talked about with the respiratory, it's also going to impact positively on the heart, right? Helps blood flow through the blood vessels, which is very, very important. It's also used as an astringent on the skin. And wound healing, hives, eczema. When you take it, there's usually a youthful glow that comes through over time. Lots of people reporting that. There's also information on it for longevity and vitality. It's very antioxidant rich, okay? It's a berry, right? So we talk about berries all the time. Put berries in. Schisandra berry is no different. Has been shown to promote longevity and vitality. Once again, tons of studies on this. Cancer protection. It goes on and on. It's unbelievable. And why? It goes back to what I talked about in the beginning. It's got this 5 aspects to it, where it impacts all of the 5 visceral organs in Chinese medicine, touches all the 5 elements in Chinese medicine, and all of the 5 tastes. Now, if you're looking at traditional Chinese medicine, that means that it impacts every part of your body. And on the Western side, we're finding exactly the same thing. So I just wanted to make you aware aware of this beautiful berry today. And I'll give you the top 10 things that Schisandra, as a rundown, has been found in literature and in research to benefit. Number 1, supports adrenal gland health. Number 2, fights stress and disease development. Number 3, aids in mental clarity and energy. Number 4, improves cellular function. Number 5, protects the liver. Number 6, promotes a calming impact, promoting sleep. Number 7, has been shown to potentially reduce blood pressure and cholesterol. Number 8, fights memory loss and helps brain fog. Number 9, it's anti-inflammatory. And number 10, it's been shown in some studies to reduce tumor growth. Whoa, all in one little drop of it, all in one little dropper full of a tincture, right? So I do want to talk about a fun way to take Schisandra berry syrup or Schisandra berry to wrap this up, and that's to make a syrup. Now, when I was in medical school, we had a job in our herbal medicine class to make some sort of tincture or syrup or capsule or something. We had to prepare, we had to decoct the medicine out and make something. One of my favorite classes, I will say, hands down, in medical school was this one, because I love to cook. So I picked one of my favorite herbs at the time, valerian, and I made a valerian syrup, and it was a cherry syrup, and it was delicious. And it involves boiling down the herb, extracting out the medicine, and mixing it with a sweetener and some juice to make a syrup. Well, guess what? Schisandra berry is a great syrup. Why? Because it tastes good already. It's got all those great flavors. So you can actually make your own Schisandra berry syrup. So if you have an herbal store nearby that carries the raw herb, you can definitely order it online. There's a bunch of valuable resources for that. And what you do is you boil the dried berries in water, then you strain them through a colander, and then you can add a sweetener. Most people add honey. You can add maple syrup, agave, something like that. Or you could use like a berry juice. I use 100% blueberry juice or 100% cherry juice. And it makes a little syrup that you can take instead of having to do an alcohol-based tincture. There are recipes on this online, and I do have one at drpingel.com on the article about Schisandra. Kind of a fun thing. I think making syrups and medicine like this with your kids is a lot of fun. Just teaching them that you can actually extract medicine from the earth and make something yummy that protects your health is really kind of a cool lesson. There's a lot that we could be learning from plants that unfortunately I don't think we have enough education on out there, and that is why I'm here. If you are not a cook and you do not like to make syrups and you think I'm nuts, there's also other ways to take Schisandra. You can take it as dried berries, you can take it as a tincture, you can take it as a powder, you can take it as a tea, and you can take it as a capsule. All of these are readily available at your health food store. This is not a hard herb to find due to its popularity. You usually can find it no problem. If you want more guidance on how to take it, more specific recommendations, you can find a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner in your area or a naturopath, functional medicine doctor to help you. But in general, outside of being pregnant and lactating, or being on a lot of different medications that may impact the immune system or liver or adrenal glands, it's a relatively safe herb, and one that definitely you should read up more on. So you guys are all kind of quiet today. I see you all out there joining and waving and whatnot, but quiet. It's one of those Friday lives, a little bit calmer. I didn't do a major topic today as far as something that gets me all excited. And Piggy was actually quiet today too, taking a nap around here. But definitely check out Schisandra berry. For those of you that are checking in later, it is quite a spelling craziness. Schisandra, and I will put it on the Instagram feed when I post it to IGTV, and it is already on the Facebook feed. You guys have the name already, and there is an article on my website that details all of the stuff I just talked about. I encourage you, check it out, give it a try, let me know what you think. And if any of you have tried Schisandra berry, let me know. I want to know how it worked for you. I personally think it's fantastic, and I definitely work it into my daily routine. So hopefully you guys look at starting to incorporate any type of herbal medicine into your routines just for better health. So if this was helpful to you, please like, share, visit drpingel.com, and I hope you guys all have a very safe weekend. Be kind to each other, be nice to yourself, take care of yourself, and I will be back on Monday. Much love to all of you. Bye-bye now.